Electronics and Communication Engineering,
on behalf of Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, wish you a very good morning. I would now request the esteemed guest to please come on the dais, and I also request Professor Dr. Manoj Kumar Pandey to accompany them. With the blessings of our Honorable Founder, President Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan Sir, Honorable Chancellor of Amity University, Uttar Pradesh, Dr. Atul K. Chauhan Sir, and Honorable Vice Chancellor of Amity University, Uttar Pradesh, Professor Dr. Balvinder Shukla Ma'am, welcome you to the curtain raiser and pre-conference keynote talk of the 11th International Conference on Signal Processing and Integrated Networks, SPIN 2024. As one of the leading global universities, Amity University is dedicated towards its responsibility of imparting its students with strong foundation and a platform for the empirical inquisition.
On this auspicious occasion, we are pleased to introduce our chief guests for the day. We have with us Mr. Chad Frischman, founder and CEO of Regenerative Intelligence, and Dr. Mamta Mehra, co-founder and leader at Regenerative Intelligence, Berkeley, California, United States. Following Amity tradition, I would now like to welcome our coveted guests with a sapling. Sapling symbolizes new beginning, life, and growth. It will remind you of our association for times to come. I request Professor Dr. Manoj Kumar Pandey, Director, Amity School of Engineering and Technology, to formally welcome our guest. I would also request Professor Dr. Pradeep Sir, Deputy Head, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, to step forward. Now, I would like to request Professor Dr. Manoj Kumar Pandey Sir, Director, Amity School of Engineering and Technology, Noida, and General Chair, SPIN 2024, to accord the welcome address and introduce the theme of 11th International Conference on Signal Processing and Integrated Networks, SPIN 2024.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So this morning, it's a quite bright morning today. So, Honorable Founder President Sir, Honorable Chancellor Sir, Vice Chancellor Madam, our guests on the dais, Mr. Chad, Dr. Mamta, my colleagues on the dais and off the dais, dear students and faculty members. On behalf of all the Amity family, I would like to welcome all of you to this curtain raiser ceremony of 11th International Conference on Signal Processing and Integrated Network. The SPIN is growing every year with leaps and bounds. Every year we are touching new heights. And every year we are setting new goals for us. And this is the theme of the today. This time is the theme is how we can take the technology for making the India as a Viksit Bharat. And signal processing and the artificial intelligence that have all the powers to take the technology to take the technology and all of the things to new heights. And in every spin, in every international conference spin, we are inviting the guests, the delegates from across the world. And for the information of our guests this morning, MIT Group of Institutions, we have 11 universities across the country and 17 campuses outside India. We have campuses in US, we have campus in Romania, we have campus in Singapore, in UK, we have campuses similar, we have 17 campuses across the world. 200,000 students are studying in our educational institutions across the world at a time. We have a strong base of 600,000 alumni across the world. An MIT Group of Institutions is imparting education to various fields, various disciplinary, transdisciplinary, and interdisciplinary fields, including engineering and technology, including management, including biomedical, biotechnology, including architecture, and many more, agriculture, and many more. And today's talk is in that series. We want to connect all our developments. We want to connect all the technologies to the sustainability. Mr. Chad, who has given his consent, and I'm thankful to him to be among us today and to share his thoughts, his experiences with us. And dear students, this sustainability is applicable to all the fields. Either it is engineering, architecture, law, it's a humanities, in any of the other fields, because the whole sustainability is as per the UN sustainability goals. And the basic stakes of the sustainability is ESG, the environment, the social, and the governance. The environment, whatever work we do, and this is the goal for an organization, the goal for a corporate, and an individual goal as well. Environment, which if we want to do any development, if we are damaging the environment, then there is no sense of that development. And in the environment, there are many fields that comes into how the corporate, how the industries, they are going to take care of their climate change, the carbon emission, the waste management, and any other way, how and what way they are creating and generating the losses to the environment. And social, the social is how whatever we are doing, it is impacting to the society. What all the contributions we are doing to the society, and how the people associated with us, and we are making or we are working for welfare of them. If I am working in a corporate which is being, the main work of that corporate is for the supply chain. So how I am taking care of all the stakes, all the human being, all the manpower which is being connected to that supply chain. How I am working with their upskilling, how I am working with their medical healthcare and social responsibilities. And the governance is, of course, as an organization, how, and there comes the field of law. How I am managing the government, how I am governing the corporate. What all the issues, aspects I am taking care of. And that, dear students, you are going to do in your future. whenever you are joining in some of the organization, there the UN goals of the sustainability is very, very important to maintain. And Mr. Chad is continuously working on this field, and we are planning to have the big association with his organization, Regintel, and that we will be discussing later on. But today, this session, he is going to tell you about how this sustainability is important for all of us. With this, once again, I will welcome all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your words of wisdom. I would now like to invite Dr. Mamta Mehra, co-founder and lead at Regenerative Intelligence, for context setting. She is a well-renowned expert on nature-based solutions who has led the land and food sector research for drawdown and guided the modeling of key solutions. Together with the other founding members of Regen Intel, Dr. Mamta has laid the foundation of integrated system analysis of drawdown solutions across different sectors, a modeling approach rarely developed and executed at the global scale. Dr. Mamta has previously served as the research sector at the Global Council for Science and the Environment and led a couple of projects on environmental science policy interface. She is also on the advisory board of Global Evergreening Alliance, Global Returns Project, and the Carbon Call initiatives. Dr. Mamta is one of the co-authors of the New York Times bestseller Drawdown book and has published many research papers in many reputed journals, including Nature Climate Change, PNAS. Dr. Mamta holds a PhD and master's in environmental science and has more than a decade of experience on climate change adaptation and mitigation issues. She is a systematic thinker and committed to contributing towards a regenerative future. Over to you, ma'am.
Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for such a warm welcome. Dear students, respected dignitaries, and all of you who are joining us virtually from different parts of the world, I warmly welcome you all to a transformative journey. Today, we have the privilege of hearing from my esteemed co-founder and CEO of Regen Intel, Mr. Chad Frischman. Let me tell you a brief background of Regen Intel. Regen Intel is a public beneficiary advisory and agency dedicated to activating humanity to become a planet-positive species. What do we mean by a planet-positive species? Chad will tell you in a bit. Through a network of world-class system thinkers and doers, Regen Intel empowers leaders and organizations to implement high-impact system of regenerative and climate solutions at scale. Additionally, we operate a non-profit entity called the Global Solution Alliance, GSA, committed to collective impact and creating holistic models to address global challenges. GSA serves as a knowledge center focused on regenerative solutions with initiatives like Project People, one of our inaugural projects aimed at elevating indigenous and regenerative solutions in global climate actions. Today's talk titled Going Beyond Sustainability, a System of Solutions to Create a Regenerative Future. Yes, we need to think and have our actions that take us beyond sustainability. Why so? Again, let's hear from Chad. But before delving into that, let me talk to you about what the session is going to offer. It advocates for a systems thinking approach to restore environmental balance and societal abundance, serving as a roadmap for those ready to contribute to a global movement towards a regenerative future. And we see MIT University taking a leading role in that direction. As the esteemed and revolutionary Nelson Mandela once said, the the youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow. It is imperative for all of us, regardless of our background or academic discipline, to contemplate a regenerative future. Climate change is urgent, it's real, and impacting us all. And we need collective actions and vision that are essential to reverse global warming and foster a regenerative future for us and our coming generation. At the end, I invite each one of us to take a moment to become still. Please close your eyes. Take deep breath in, out. Deep breath in and out. I request you all to please join us in this small exercise. Bring yourself into the moment, feeling your chair or the floor beneath you. Now I invite you to begin to think about your good wishes for the world. What changes do you hope to see one day? What are some of the aspects of the future you hope to help birth? Do you hope that the world will be filled with more kindness? Perhaps that world will be rechanted with nature. Do you hope for a world filled with more peace? Let yourself bask in this warmth of your good wishes. Let them fill you up and stream forth out into the universe. Deep breath in and out. Bring your attention back to your body, grounded on the floor. As we close this good wishing, know that we have all extended care out into this world. This good wishing for others and the world can be freeing and inspiring for us and others. Now open your eyes as we prepare for this talk. Thank you all for participating and sending your warm good wishes to the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I would now like to introduce our guest, Mr. Chad Frischman. Mr. Chad is the CEO and founder of Regenerative Intelligence, a global advisory superpowered by a network of world class system thinkers and doers, creating a virtuous cycle of collaborative intelligence. We enable the effective implementation of the highest impact systems of solution for the planet and for people at scale. He is also the founder at Global Solutions Alliance, a membership based international non-profit organization comprised of existing non-profit and for-profit entities committed for creating a regenerative future. Prior to launching Regen Intel, Mr. Chad was the co-author, lead researcher, and architect of the Drawdown Solutions Framework, the engine underpinning the New York Network Times bestseller Drawdown, the most comprehensive plan ever proposed to reverse global warming, Penguin 2017, the Drawdown Review, February 2020, and all communications and engagement efforts at Project Drawdown, one of the world's leading resources for climate solutions. Leading a global team of solutions, Mr. Chad designed integrated global tools to assess the world's most effective climate solutions and determine if, when, and how the world can reach drawdown point in the time when the concentration of atmospheric greenhouse gases begins to decline on a year to year basis. As the creator of Drawdown Solutions, Mr. Chad was the key spokesperson and coalition builder of the Drawdown Solution Framework to the world. The topic for today's keynote talk is Going Beyond Sustainability, a system of solutions to create a regenerative future. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Chad Frischman for the Spin 2024 curtain raiser and his keynote talk.
Namaste. Hello. Thank you so much for having me here today. It's a pleasure to be here in Delhi to speak to you all about solutions. Real technologies and practices that exist today that can not only begin the process of reversing global warming, but can also lead us to creating a regenerative future. This slide. Okay, super. Let's start that again. Thank you all for welcoming me here today. It's a real pleasure. Thank you for that kind introduction. We really appreciate being here in Delhi and to be able to talk to you about real solutions, real technologies and practices that exist today that can only begin to stop global warming, but reverse the process. These are technologies and practices that can also help guide us to creating a regenerative economy and society, a regenerative future that benefits all life. A regenerative future that allows and sees humanity becoming a planet positive species. Now, what do I mean by planet positive? A planet positive species is one that benefits from, but contributes more to the well-being of all life. And I believe that all species are inherently planet positive. We are part of an intricate system of solutions called life. The most miraculous, most beautiful set of solutions in our physical universe. However, one species, our species, has deviated from this natural state of being planet positive. Humanity has created our own systems of exploitation and extraction in order to solve challenges, in order to solve problems, to make our lives easier. But these institutions, these economic and social institutions that have developed over countless centuries, have caused the destruction and degradation of our natural systems. It has caused great poverty and injustice in the world, great disparity and inequality amongst our own species. A system, an economic system that benefits a few instead of the many. We are born into this system through no fault of our own, to this extractive and exploitive system that prevents us from really achieving the fullest measure of our human and planetary well-being. And these systems have also created a distance, a separation from nature. We and humanity have become more and more distinct, as if somehow we are not part of Earth's biodiversity, instead of being an integral part of this one living planet. So how do we correct this? How do we steer back to becoming a planet positive species? About the best that we have been able to come up with is a concept, a framework called sustainability. This, in a sense, means the ability to sustain the system we are in within our planetary boundaries, the very real planetary boundaries that that limit the resources and capacity of our Earth to maintain the system we're operating in. But sustainability as a framework, the ability to sustain the current system, is not truly sustainable, not if we want to ensure the well-being of every human and every species with justice, equity, and inclusion. The system that we're operating in, the extractive and exploitative system, is insufficient to ensure that every human on this planet lives a life of fulfillment, fulfilled well-being. So we have to change the system itself. We have to move beyond the framework of sustainability. Noble though it may be, we must achieve our sustainable development goals, eliminating poverty, hunger, providing gender equality. But this is the bare minimum that we want for our fellow humans and for all life. We have to push beyond sustainability to create a new economic and social system that places well-being at the heart of our economic and social systems. And this system is called regeneration. A regenerative economy and society is sustainable because it pushes beyond the current system and flips our mindset from one of extraction and exploitation to one of abundance. So when we think about regenerative systems, this is really moving beyond exploitation, beyond sustainability towards regeneration, moving beyond an endless growth economy towards a regrowth economy, where restoration, abundance, and well-being are at the center of every decision that we make. And when we shift our mindsets to be thinking beyond this, we can become a planet-positive species. And let me just hide this for you all, if I can. Can I move this? Voila, that's better. There you go. So this is already happening. There are many organizations around the world that have made commitments towards becoming a regenerative company, a regenerative fund, regenerative community. There are already companies and organizations around the world that are looking to create a regenerative future. Some are doing a very good job. Ecosia and At One Ventures. Others, on the other end of the slide, Nestle, Pepsi, are making commitments and somehow falling a bit short. But this is just the beginning. We're just learning how to create regenerative systems. And so as we see the years to come, as we see the transformations that we need to make in order to become truly sustainable, in order to solve climate change, regeneration and regenerative systems will play the most important role in achieving that. But the challenge feels overwhelming. When we talk about systems change, we have to change everything, right? In order to create that new way of being, that new mindset. The new economic and social structures, the fabric of our institutions must change. It feels overwhelming. It feels overwhelming for businesses, for individuals, to bear that burden, to carry that system transformation because it affects everything that we do. But we have to. We have to name that as our goal. We can't name goals that are short measures. We can't simply solve climate change. We can't simply achieve the sustainable development goals. We have to name the future that we actually want. We have to put the marker on that horizon to where humanity wants to be, because if we don't, we're never going to achieve that. We're never going to get there. So we have to place our ambitions at the most ambitious that we can imagine. We have to create that future, and then we work towards that. And we have to do this. There is an urgency requiring us to change everything. This is the climate crisis that we're facing today. We are experiencing climate change and the extreme weather events, the impact on human and natural systems today, and they will only continue and become worse and worse over years to come if we do not change. And we have to change everything, as Naomi Klein said long ago. So if we have to change everything, then we can view climate change, the climate crisis, as a catalyst, a moment in time where we have to change, and therefore we can change and create the future we want by design. So if we name that future horizon point, we build towards that future horizon point, and we have the motivation, the need, the necessity to do this, we can achieve it. Because everything we do as a species produces greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide, methane, fluorinated gases, nitrous oxide, and others. All the coal, oil, and gas-fired plants are powered up in order for us to turn on our lights. We burn gas to heat our homes. We burn and combust long dead fossilized phytoplankton in order to move from point A to point B. And greenhouse gases are produced from all of the stuff we consume every day, produced in factories and sadly throw away too quickly. And to all the food that we produce and how we produce that food and what we're consuming, everything we do as a species produces greenhouse gases that are causing global warming. That these gases enter the atmosphere. But the good thing is that we have natural systems, living systems, that pull carbon dioxide, in some cases methane, out of the atmosphere and store it safely. This is a process called sequestration. And it's done through the magic and the miracle of photosynthesis, which converts carbon dioxide into biomass and soil organic carbon. This is a way in which we can pull down carbon and mitigate the worst effects of all of the emissions that we're putting into the atmosphere. The problem, as you can see here, is that 59% of what we produce stays in the atmosphere. And that's because our natural living systems can only have limited capacity to sequester carbon dioxide, and we are degrading them at an alarming rate, degrading both our land and marine ecosystems. So we have to figure out ways to turn off the sources of emissions and maximize, enhance the sinks or the sequestration potential of our natural systems. And when we reach that balance of zero emissions going into the atmosphere and maximizing our natural ecosystems, we can stop and begin to reverse global warming. How do we do this? Well, there are essentially three mechanisms that we know how to do this. One is to reduce emissions by reducing consumption. This is done through technological efficiencies and behavior change. Two, to replace technologies that are producing emissions with alternatives that are part of the solution. And three, to restore carbon to useful forms by enhancing our natural carbon sinks and living ecosystems, as well as in the future, developing engineered sinks that can have this effect too. But it's through these mechanisms and only through these mechanisms that we can solve the climate crisis. But we need to do them all. So I led a team for over 8 years, Mamta being one of my lead researchers, but a team of over 100 researchers from around the world. And together we mapped, measured, modeled, and described and communicated the top 100 technologies and practices that exist today that could potentially stop global warming. We modeled and measured these technologies over a 30-year period using conservative metrics and collecting data from hundreds and thousands of studies from around the world. It's a meta-analysis of the best available information that we have as a species and how these technologies operate. And using these conservative metrics, we determined whether they had the amount of greenhouse gases that they could reduce over a 30-year period. These are the numbers you see to the right of these solutions. I couldn't list all 100 solutions, so here are only the top 25. What's really important to notice here is that there's a number of solutions that come from different sectors: food, agriculture, electricity generation, transportation, materials, buildings. Every area of human activity has a plethora, a number of different solutions, technologies, and practices that we know already exist today that work, that when scaled locally, regionally, and globally, can have these results. But we have to see this as a system of solutions, an integrated whole. None of these sectors, none of these solutions operate in isolation. They're all interconnected, working together through stock and flow and system dynamics as we implement one solution that has an impact on all the other solutions in their own sector and across sectors. But when we see these as a system of solutions, we see these as a system of interconnected systems, then we can map the potential to achieve our global targets. The 1.5 degrees Celsius target is set by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC, as a benchmark into preventing the worst catastrophic collapse of our human and economic systems. Currently, we are far, far off track. But the 1.5 is our ambitious goal. A less ambitious goal would be a 2 degrees Celsius warming target. But every single degree counts, every fraction of a degree counts. But what we've determined through our study, which was one of the most substantial studies on climate solutions of the last decade, is that we can achieve the 1.5 degrees Celsius warming target. We can prevent the worst case scenarios from occurring, but we need all of the solutions to do it. We need to be implementing every technology and practice that we know exists today across all those areas of human activity, all those sectors, in parallel to achieve this ambitious goal. And you can see here all of those solutions represented. Sure, the top 25 do the bulk of the work, but we need all 100 to get there. And there is a huge return on investment. So in addition to measuring the potential climate impacts, we also measured the financial implications of implementing these solutions and the potential return. In sum, it takes about $30 trillion, $20 to $30 trillion over the 30-year period to implement these solutions, compared to what we would have to do anyway. But there's a $140 trillion return on that investment in terms of operational savings alone. Again, compared to what we'd have to do anyway. So what this means is that we have about an $80 to $115 trillion ROI on the system of solutions that can stop global warming and do so much more. Because these are the same sets of solutions that allow us to achieve our sustainable development goals. Each and every one of these technologies and practices, when implemented in the right way, with justice, equity, and inclusion at the heart of that implementation, right? Not top down, but bottom up, right? Getting local and regional action. When we do this in the right way, we can achieve the sustainable development goals, because all of these technologies and practices have cascading benefits to humanity. Benefits that go beyond climate, that address our nutrition, our health, our livelihoods, our job security, gender equality, etc. We've mapped all of the different technologies that we profiled to solve climate change to achieving all of the sustainable development goals. The most essential goal, however, is SDG 17, partnerships. Working together at scale, working together between governments and businesses, financial institutions, communities, individuals, local people. Coming together is the key to implementing all of these solutions, and it's only through that do all of these cascading benefits to achieving the sustainable development goals occur. But we have to think, remember, beyond sustainability, because this is the minimum that we want for humanity and for life. We want to create a regenerative economy, one that maximizes the well-being of every species. So we have to think beyond the limited framework of sustainability and go beyond to the regenerative development goals and see the integrated system of solutions, an ecosystem of solutions, if you will, that mirrors life itself, as how all of these different technologies and practices across these different sectors intersect and cause this ripple effect of virtuous feedback cycles of cascading benefits that create abundance and well-being and move beyond extraction and exploitation. The reality is that we have the solutions to do that. Regenerative solutions are climate solutions. They can stop global warming. They can achieve the sustainable development goals. And they allow us to create a regenerative future, the regenerative economy that will benefit every human on this planet and every species. But we have to challenge existing systems. We can't sit complacently and allow this to continue business as usual. We have to change this to business as we want, right? Change our status quo to that future vision of what we want to achieve. We have to move beyond a paradigm focused on solving problems, instigated by fear and in an environment of conflict and competition. This is the cauldron that produces apathy and indifference to the status quo. These are the characteristics that continue the system of inequality, injustice, and lack of inclusion. We have to change this. These are the pillars of an extractive and exploitative economy. We have to move beyond that to a new mindset that focuses on solutions, the possibility of what those solutions can achieve, and an environment of true collaboration. These are the pillars of a regenerative economy. Solutions not to problems, but solutions to challenges, solutions to puzzles, if you will. Possibility what the opportunity that these solutions can have if we believe in their potential, backed by science, backed by data. And if we move beyond our competitive landscape to a collaborative world of partnerships, connectivity, and working together towards common goals and common purpose, we can achieve this goal. And we can achieve it because we already know what to do. We don't have to imagine anything. Everything is right in front of us. We can imagine a world where all of our energy needs are provided by the power of the sun and wind and natural resources, just like every other species on this planet. We can imagine moving throughout the world from point A to point B with joy, powered by electricity, powered by the sun and by our renewable resources. We can imagine a world where we can recycle all the materials that are currently in our system over and over and over again, so we don't have to extract more. And we can imagine a world where we've shifted our economy from an economy produced by death, by fossil fuels, by extraction, to an economy of life, where we grow the materials for our consumption, and we contribute to the productivity of life on this planet. We can imagine a world where we restore our forests, restoring biodiversity, restoring life to this planet, and protecting the precious forests that we have remaining and the biodiversity that is here and staying intact. We can imagine this on our land ecosystems as well as our ocean ecosystems, protecting macro-algal forests and restoring the trophic pyramid of our waters. We can imagine harvesting this abundant resource, this economy of life, through the materials, through our biofuels, through many applications of our ocean as well as land resources. We can imagine fundamentally rethinking how we produce our food to increase the productivity of soil, to benefit smallholder farmers and large farming operations alike, to improve water retention, nutrition, through regenerative practices, to reduce all of the food that we waste on a day-to-day basis. This is one of the saddest things that we do as a species. There are 800 million people in the world going starving, and about 30 to 40% of all food that we produce for human consumption is wasted across the supply chain. We could end hunger today by substantially reducing food waste and loss. And we could feed the world's population now and all into the future. We could establish food security when we reduce our food loss and waste, adopt regenerative agriculture, and we adopt a plant-rich diet, a healthy diet that reduces the amount of livestock consumption, products from livestock, animal-based consumption, and increases the consumption of beautiful plants. It's through a combination of all these things that we can achieve food security for our growing population to come. We can imagine all of these solutions because they already exist. We already know what to do. They're already there. They're already being implemented all over the world. There are many organizations and people throughout India who are implementing all of those solutions. And we need to do that. We need to do more. This needs to be not the fringe, not a niche in India, not a niche in Europe, not a niche in the US or Brazil, but it should be the predominant form our economy works. And we can do it. We have everything we need to make this happen. And it's only going to improve over time. As we innovate, we increase productivity, we increase efficiency, we increase the capacity of all of these different technologies and practices to achieve a system of abundance. So, stopping climate change is possible. Achieving the SDGs is possible. And creating a regenerative future is possible. Because these are all opportunities. Opportunities to create the future we want by design. I want to stress this to each and every one of you. The difference between solving a problem and an opportunity for the future. These are two different mindsets. If we see this, each and every one of these solutions as opportunities, then we can dedicate our life, our energy, our passions to implementing these and saving our human and natural systems. We have to name that horizon point. We have to go towards that. If we don't name it, we will never achieve it. So I encourage you all to think beyond just solving climate, beyond just achieving sustainability, noble goals though they are, and name the marker on your horizon point to be a regenerative future, and to do so together. Because we're only one generation, now and into the future. Because every decision that we make today affects ourselves, our next generation, and every future generation to come. We are the regeneration. No more generation X, Y, or Z, just one generation, the regeneration, working together to create a little bit of regenerative intelligence in this world. So thank you for allowing me to speak today. It's been a pleasure. I'm happy to answer some questions. Shukriya.
Does anyone have any questions? We have opened the platform for questions.
So one or two questions we would definitely want to invite. Any hands going up? So on behalf of students, probably the question from my side, which we would definitely want to hear from you. Many of the students here are from the technological background. And what we would like to know from you, you have already told us about different aspects of technology, different domains, which are actually creating a lot of impact on climate. So how do you think these technologists could be a solution maker and contribute towards regeneration for you?
Yes, hello, can you hear me? Well, no, I think technology play an incredibly important role. I mean, we often talk about innovation, right? Innovation is a hot buzzword today, and everyone's having incubators and accelerators and innovations around. And I think innovation is incredibly important, but I encourage you to think about innovations in the context of how to improve technologies that we already know work. What I mean by that is oftentimes technologists often try to think of what's the next technology to come, a future silver bullet that's going to solve all of the challenges. The reality is that there's no single silver bullet that's going to affect or going to be able to solve any of the challenges, climate change or the sustainable development goals, or certainly not create a regenerative future, right? So don't spend too much energy trying to come up with the next future technology, next thing on the horizon point, because we don't have enough time to do that. If instead we dedicate our time and energy to improving what we know already works, transforming how we produce solar panels, for example, to reduce resource productivity. So we could use less materials, fewer materials, increase capacity factors, make them more efficient, more cost effective. This is a really, really good way to apply your skills in technology and innovation to technology that we know already work. Geothermal technology, our energy systems, our food systems, etc. There's countless number of solutions out there that need to be innovated, need to have greater resource productivity, more efficiency, cheaper, that we can scale them faster. And this is a level of urgency that we absolutely need right now. A lot of folks get enamored with creating the next biggest thing, the new thing on the horizon point. But unfortunately, first of all, it's not going to get us there. And second of all, we really need more innovation in the space that we have today, the technologies that we know already work.
And if time permits, I would like to, give you an exercise. After you leave this session, go back to your classes, your room, your home, and look around, what we are doing, what kind of technologies do we have? Are they sustainable? Just talking about a water faucet, a electricity appliance. So you would come across a lot of things that are in and around that exist today might not be functioning to the best of their capacities. So there is a scope to improve the efficiencies over there. And I want you all to think about that, how you can look for solutions so that we can bring more and more efficiencies into the appliances, into the technologies we are being part of, and try to bring more efficiency and try to reduce the waste in and around. We human beings are part of that ecosystem. So it's our collective responsibilities to make our system, our ecosystem, a regenerative one. And let's start that from our home, from our university.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Any question there? Yeah.
Well, I'm Shivan. I'm from batch. I'm from BTech. My question is, you said by we should improve the things that we already know, but I think that those will be. But I think those only would be the only marginal improvements. Should I repeat it?
Yes, please.
Well, my question is that you talked about improving the things that we already know, but I believe that those improvements will only be the marginal improvements, and I believe that we should focus more on technology improvements. And my main question is that as you said, you want to reverse the global warming. So can we create oxygen through technology? Like photosynthesis happens in plants. Can we do that by technology, by creating something that creates oxygen that would very much accelerate the reverse of the global warming?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't say stop. No, we don't need new technologies. That's going to come. There are many technologies on the pipeline. We call them coming attractions. It is important. I should rectify that. New technologies are important. We need to continue to invest in them and research them, but not enough. Not enough is working. Not enough investment is going into innovating technologies we have today. Now, there is a point that you're saying that the marginal return on those improvements. I actually think there's a massive return on that. Actually, particularly in the energy sector, the built environment, transportation. These aren't just marginal; they're massive improvements that can be done for these technologies. In addition to that, these coming attractions along the pipeline are going to help us accelerate faster, but there's going to be no silver bullet. I think what you're trying to address, I didn't quite understand the full part of the second half of that question, but carbon capture and storage, carbon capture and use, how do we pull direct air capture, how do we pull carbon out of the atmosphere using machines, engineered sequestration machines to pull out carbon out of the atmosphere and to store it and use it in different forms. This is something that's going to be needed in the long run, right? Post 2050, we're going to need more engineered capacity because of so much carbon dioxide that we put into the atmosphere. Our natural systems have a limited capacity. They have permanence issues and saturation, which means they can only store so much. At that point, yes, we're going to need more engineered things to do so. So we need to continue with research and development into this sector, is my belief. However, so much money being dumped into carbon capture storage, carbon capture and use today is not a good allocation of resources because it's essentially a band-aid for the fossil fuel industry, right? It allows us to continue the system as we're operating today under the promise that we can just pull carbon out of the atmosphere using machines. And the reality is the machines aren't even close to being at a level of efficiency to have an impact. In fact, the amount of energy that is needed to pull carbon out of the atmosphere is higher than what the carbon is being, than the amount of carbon that is actually being able to be reduced from the atmosphere. So we're actually in some cases contributing more because of the energy ROI on a system than we are actually benefiting from it. That's going to change in time to come with more efficiencies of direct air capture and CCS, CCU. But for right now, these aren't systems that are going to make a big difference in terms of where we need to be now and the urgency that we have. So we have to think about this. I agree with you. We're going to, down the line, there are many, many new technologies that can have great benefit, but we have an urgency right now to solve climate change. We're feeling the impacts today. In the next 5 to 7 years, we should be expecting, Earth system to respond in catastrophic ways if we don't do something very fast. And so we don't really have time to invest in some improved direct air capture or other kind of machines, technology, engineered things to do so. We don't have the ability to do that now. So we really need to triple down on what we know works today, make them more efficient, make them more productive, and there's a huge room of growth in this sector. So the idea that these are just marginal incremental changes, I think, is a false narrative. There's a lot that can be improved. We've already are seeing this. We're already on the cusp of much more resource productive solar panels and wind turbines that can dramatically increase capacity factors while being a tiny fraction of the size and resources required to do so. And that's the kind of innovation that we need today.
Thank you very much.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Swadhir Bosna from BTech Civil, second year. So I have a question for you. So as you know, peri-urban areas are important for sustainably developing urban areas. And how can you tell that sustainable regeneration or generative is important for developing peri-urban areas, and what are the disadvantages and advantages of it?
That's a very good question. So when we think about regenerative systems as going beyond just regenerative agriculture or ecosystem restoration efforts, if we see these as how do we implement these system of solutions in an urban setting and built environment? The challenges, of course, is the cost. And peri-urban. The cost of implementation is challenging, right? The policy frameworks that are in place need to be there. So I think the biggest challenges and hurdles I see in implementing these solutions in peri-urban environments is policy and the capital flow in order to support the development here.
I just want to add on that, let's take an example of Delhi, Noida, or Delhi, Gurgaon, that peri-urban areas. So as Chad has mentioned that definitely when there are two states involved, there are different state policies. It's difficult to challenge that out. And the kind of livelihood options we have in the rural areas, which is mostly agrarian based compared to cities, is different. And we need to look around from a systemic perspective because we have seen so much of growth and development in the Delhi NCR regions, which is unsustainable. The way housing complexes are growing up without imagining that do we have the right enough water resources to maintain those much housing complexes. I hardly see any green spaces or that concept around. Maybe within your society you will find a bit of green space. That's an individual, that builder, what he's doing. But as part of that Delhi NCR, we don't have a holistic systemic plan that is thinking about how to manage our waste. Delhi NCR is producing, I believe, the maximum waste in India. Are we thinking about that? No. So we need to think about from a systemic perspective that how can we ensure that we bring more life, more well-being, and so that we can improve efficiencies, but through technological advances, through behavioral change, through right policies, everything. So yes, it is challenging, but again, we'll have to look from that as an opportunity and a collaboration that we need within states as well as, intrastate policies and actions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir and ma'am, for such an insightful session. Oh, okay, sorry.
Hi, sir. Good morning. Myself, Jamima. I'm doing computer science engineering second year. So my question today is, sir, as young engineers, like, what would you suggest us things that we need to focus on to develop, sustainable technologies as we are, developing technologies in the coming future? What are things that we can focus on to develop sustainable technology? Sorry, ma'am. Yes, computer science.
Oh, it's a very good question. It's a very good question. Thank you. Thank you for offering that. What I often say to folks when they ask me this question is it's going to be different for each individual. So the most important thing you can do is to look inside yourself. I know this sounds a little, you're technology folks and you're thinking about, well, you want an answer like I can programming or engineering or whatever, but to look inside yourself and see what are your own superpowers. What are the things that call to you? Because we have to approach this, I like to think of it as an adventure, a game, right? It's a journey that you're on. Because if it's a task, it's a burden, you're not going to have the desire to proceed and to take this journey. So look into yourself and find what are the things that excite you. There's so many technologies and practices out there for you to choose from. And as an engineering student, every single one of most of these solutions, not all perhaps, but most of these solutions have some application for you to find your way in that. So choose your own adventure, right? Look to yourself. What are you already doing in your own life that you are passionate about? Maybe something you're already doing is a solution. It could be what you're eating, plant-rich diet. It could be how you're moving around in the world. It could be using bikes or public transit. Whatever it is that you do already, it could be a solution. Find out what that is. And then what makes you passionate? What makes you excited is the next step. Because if you look to what you're already doing, right? If you look to what you're already doing and you recognize that what you're doing is part of the solution, you are more likely to take the next step forward. You're more likely to find the next thing. So I know this is kind of a high level answer, right? But each and every one of you has the potential to find a solution and to go with it. You don't have to do everything. Don't try to do everything because you can't do it alone, right? But if you find the thing that makes you most passionate, the solution that calls to you, and you're doing some solution, so you feel encouraged, you feel boldened to take the next step forward, that is the pathway. Because everyone here can be contributing to a system of solutions, because you're all part of the system of solution of life. Each and every one of us. And we have to remember, right? Why are you here? You're here because of thousands, millions, billions, trillions of innovations over 1 billion years that have brought you here today in this audience, along with everyone else and every other species on this planet today at this moment in this beautiful system of life, right? You are an innovation to the harsh existence of reality. So take that encouragement and say, okay, what can I do next? Find your pathway, be passionate. And whatever you do, don't do something because you think you should. Don't do something because someone tells you you should, or you're trying to impress yourself or to impress others. Do something that calls to you, right? Because there's so many solutions. The ones that we profile, the 100 solutions that we profile, are a small number of the thousands of solutions that actually exist at different scales and for different things, right? So find what calls to you. That's the most important thing. There's no one way. You don't have to create the next software platform, right? You don't have to do that. If you want to, great. But try to find that adventure. Choose your own adventure.
Thank you, sir, for your words of encouragement.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Myself, Mohammed Finas Faisal, and I'm in BTech second year. My question for you is, as you said, we're supposed to be using technologies which is for climate change and global warming to control it. So how sure are we that the technologies which we use right now are not itself contributing to global warming? Like, for example, hydroelectric dams and solar panels, still they do use a small amount of fossil fuels. So how are they not contributing itself for global warming? How sure are we about that?
Well, that's a very good question. We call these indirect emissions. So these are emissions that are embodied emissions. So there are certain emissions that are associated with certain emissions that are associated with the production of solar panels or the production of wind turbines. There are emissions that are associated with the called embodied emissions with the construction of building materials. All of this is true. So none of these solutions or technologies are completely emission zero, right? Everything has some sort of emissions. Even a lot of our natural systems are producing emissions through cultivation and processing, etc. So there's going to be some there, but on balance, right? So solar panel, for example, the indirect emissions that are associated with the production of the solar panels, which actually do require rare earth minerals. So it does require some extraction. So there is some that's still in the system. Well, that's true. But the amount of emissions is so much smaller in comparison to anything else than producing electricity that it becomes marginal. So marginal that it's not really, it doesn't really have an impact on the overall global warming. So yes, we have to account always for indirect emissions, always account for embodied emissions. We have to do a full life cycle analysis of anything that we're producing so we understand where are the emissions across the supply chain. And you calculate all of that together, and then you do the net benefit. So if solar panels are producing zero emissions from electricity generation and have a small footprint in terms of their embodied emissions, then it's still a solution. Right? But if it's a flip side, like direct air capture is a good example, where the operational emissions that are associated with the energy used to power the machine is higher than the amount of carbon dioxide being pulled out of the atmosphere. Well, that's obviously not a solution, right?
Thank you, sir.
So, due to our time constraint, that would be our last question for the day. So, we thank you, sir and ma'am, for such an insightful session. Now, can I request the senior Amity team to present token of appreciation and gratitude, and request our guests to kindly step forward for the presentation ceremony. Now, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Ashwini Kumar Dubey, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, Amity School of Engineering and Technology, and Organizing Chair, SPIN 2024, to deliver a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Anika and Vansika. Hello. Yeah. A very good afternoon to one and all present here. I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone who has laid down the foundation of this curtain raiser and pre-conference keynote talk of the 11th International Conference on Signal Processing and Integrated Network ISPIN 2024. On behalf of the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, MIT School of Engineering and Technology, MIT University, Uttar Pradesh, Noida, as well as on my own behalf, I extend my sincere gratitude to our Honorable Founder President, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan, sir, for giving us an ideal platform and motivation to organize such events. Thank you, sir. I express my sincere thanks to Honorable Chancellor of MIT University, Uttar Pradesh, Dr. Atul K. Chauhan, sir, for his constant support, guidance, and motivation. Thank you, sir. I always express my heartfelt gratitude to Professor Dr. Balvinder Shukla, Madam, Honorable Vice Chancellor of MIT University, Uttar Pradesh, for constantly striving us to strive better. I am feeling so honored to express my sincere thanks to our chief guest and keynote speaker of the session, Mr. Chad Frischman, founder and CEO, Regenerative Intelligence, Intel, Berkeley, California, United States. Thank you, Mr. Chad, for accepting our invitation and sparing your valuable time to deliver a wonderful session here on the topic, Going Beyond Sustainability, a System for Solution to Create Regenerative Future. It was really a very insightful session and we have enjoyed a lot. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Please have a big round of applause to our honorable chief guest, Mr. Chad. Thank you. I would also like to express our sincere obligation to our guest of honor and invited speaker for the session, Dr. Mamta Mehra, co-founder and lead at Regenerative Intelligence, California, United States, who have taken time from their busy schedule and graced this occasion and made this event a success. Thanks a lot, ma'am. Have a huge round of applause for her also. Thank you. Further, I express my sincere thanks to Professor Manoj Kumar Pandey, Director, MIT School of Engineering and Technology, MIT University, Uttar Pradesh, and General Chair ISPIN 2024 for his constant support, guidance, and motivation to organize such kinds of event. Thank you, sir. I would like to express my gratitude to Professor Dr. Madhuri Kumari, Deputy Director Placement and Industry Relations, MIT School of Engineering and Technology, for her considerate support throughout the success of this event. Thank you, ma'am. I am also thankful to Professor J.K. Rai, Head of the Department Electronics and Communication Engineering and Conference Chair ISPIN 2024, and Professor Dr. Pradeep Kumar, Deputy Head of the Department Electronics and Communication Engineering and the Organizing Chair ISPIN 2024, for their kind support, guidance, and motivation. I am very much thankful to all the respected dignitaries of MIT family, head of the institutions, head of the departments of different disciplines, MIT family, MIT faculty, and all the staffs who have came forward and supported us to organize such kinds of events. So thank you everyone for joining us. I would also like to thank my colleague, Dr. Nidhi Gaur, Assistant Professor, Department of EC, for her coordination, dedication, and hard work to make this event successful. Thank you. I sincerely thank to all students, volunteers, especially Kalyani, Yogesh, Anika, Shreyas, and Vansika, who have worked hard to make this event successful. So thank you, my all volunteer students. So please have a huge round of applause for them. Thank you. I am thankful to SERB, DST Government of India and CST Government of UP for sponsoring the ISPIN 2024. I would also like to thank the IT team for providing us an uninterrupted IT support. So thank you, IT team. I want to thank our entire audience for making the event a grand success. So I have a huge round of applause for all the audience. once again, I thank you all, everyone. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us in this event. Thank you.